Ever pondered about who the Nephilim were, the mysterious beings mentioned in the Bible? As we delve into biblical texts, we often stumble upon entities that pique our curiosity. And one such entity is the Nephilim. These enigmatic figures appear in the biblical books of Genesis 6 and Numbers 13. Their presence shrouded in mystery and subject to much speculation. The term Nephilim itself is nebulous. Its meaning and identity a topic hotly debated among Christians and Bible scholars alike. A fascinating aspect of the Nephilim narrative is the variety of interpretations surrounding it. Indeed, there are 4 widely accepted views on who these beings might have been. Some believe that the Nephilim were the offspring of fallen angels and human women, a result of an unnatural union between celestial and terrestrial beings. Others propose that the sons of God, as referenced in the Bible, are these fallen angels themselves. Then we have the theory that the Nephilim were the Sethites, descendants of Adam's third son, Seth. This interpretation suggests a lineage of righteousness, contrasting with the commonly held belief of the Nephilim's sinister origins. Lastly, there's the view that the Nephilim were influential leaders or kings, their stature and power lending them an almost supernatural aura, hence their depiction as giants in some narratives. Despite the multitude of theories, it's crucial to remember that the term Nephilim may not necessarily refer to giants. The ambiguity of the term and the lack of explicit detail in the biblical texts leave much room for interpretation and conjecture. The Nephilim, an intriguing mystery of the Bible, remains a subject of fascination and debate. Join us as we continue to unravel this biblical enigma in the next segment. The identity of the Nephilim has been interpreted in 4 major ways. This ambiguity surrounding the Nephilim only adds to the mystery that shrouds them. Our first interpretation takes us to the intriguing possibility that the Nephilim were the offspring of fallen angels and women, a celestial and terrestrial union, if you will. This viewpoint finds its roots in passages from Job and the New Testament, although neither explicitly mentions the Nephilim or such angelic affairs. The second interpretation suggests that the Nephilim were not the offspring but the fallen angels themselves. A direct descent from the heavens, these celestial beings are thought to have roamed the earth, their deeds and misdeeds shaping our history. Next, we delve into the theory that identifies the Nephilim as the Sethites. Named after Adam and Eve's third son Seth, this view proposes that the righteous lineage of Seth were the Nephilim. A contrast to their angelic counterparts, the Sethites' interpretation offers a more human perspective to the identity of the Nephilim. Finally, we explore the notion that the Nephilim were leaders or kings, earthly rulers who held sway over their domains. Their might and influence, it is suggested, earned them the title of Nephilim, a term whose definition remains as elusive as the figures it represents. Each of these interpretations offers a unique perspective on the identity of the Nephilim. Whether they were the progeny of celestial beings, the fallen angels themselves, descendants of Seth, or earthly rulers, each theory contributes to the enigma that is the Nephilim. Each view presents a unique perspective, contributing to the enigma of the Nephilim. One popular interpretation paints the Nephilim as the hybrid offspring of fallen angels and humans. This perspective, which has sparked many a debate, has found its roots in the ancient texts of the Book of Job and several New Testament passages. Let's delve into this a bit deeper. The Book of Job, one of the oldest biblical texts, refers to sons of God, a term that, in this context, is often interpreted as angels. These divine beings are depicted attending a heavenly council, an image that implies their celestial origin. Now, there are those who argue that these sons of God are the same entities who fathered the Nephilim as mentioned in Genesis. The leap to fallen angels is then a small one, with many considering these sons of God as angels who rebelled against divine authority. Moving over to the New Testament, we find passages that seem to lend weight to this theory. For instance, in the second epistle of Peter and the epistle of Jude, there are references to angels who sinned and were cast down to Tartarus, a place of punishment. These passages are often linked to the Genesis account of the Nephilim, suggesting a connection between these punished angels and the mysterious Nephilim. However, it's important to note that neither the Book of Job nor the New Testament passages explicitly mention the Nephilim. Furthermore, these texts do not directly state that these angels had sexual relationships with women to produce offspring. The connection is largely interpretative, drawn from the juxtaposition of these stories in the Genesis narrative. To sum up, the view that the Nephilim were the offspring of fallen angels and humans is one that is based largely on interpretation and correlation of various biblical passages. It is a fascinating theory that has captivated the minds of many, but it is not without its controversies and debates. This interpretation, while popular, is not without its controversies and debates. Some scholars suggest that Job, not Genesis, holds the title of the first book of the Bible. This theory, while not universally accepted, is based on several key pieces of evidence. Firstly, the Book of Job is primarily written in poetic form, and poetry is one of the oldest forms of human expression. Additionally, the societal structure depicted in Job is more similar to early Bronze Age cultures than to the later civilizations of the Israelites. Moreover, Job contains no reference to the Mosaic Law, the central religious and cultural code of the Israelites, which suggests it might predate the formation of these laws. Instead, Job's moral and ethical dilemmas are framed in a universal context, which could indicate its origins in a time before the establishment of Israelite-specific religious practices. This theory about Job's primacy has fascinating implications for our understanding of the Nephilim. If Job is indeed the earliest biblical text, it could provide unique insights into the world that existed before the Great Flood, a world where, according to some interpretations, the Nephilim roamed the earth. Job's frequent references to sons of God, a term that in other biblical contexts has been associated with celestial beings, could potentially be linked to the Nephilim. If the sons of God are indeed the Nephilim, then Job's discussions about their nature and role could shed light on this enigmatic group. However, it's important to remember that these are theories, interpretations that are subject to scholarly debate. The Bible, like any ancient text, is a complex work that can be approached from many different angles. Whether or not Job is the earliest biblical book, its potential relevance to the Nephilim adds another layer of intrigue to their mystery. The Nephilim, as we have seen, are shrouded in mystery and interpretation. Our journey into their enigmatic existence has taken us through the labyrinthine corridors of biblical texts, illuminating intriguing perspectives along the way. First, we encountered the Nephilim in the pages of Genesis and Numbers, where they made their elusive appearance. In these ancient texts, their identity remains as elusive as a shadow at dusk, prompting us to delve deeper into the various interpretations that have surfaced over time. We then explored the four dominant views that have emerged regarding the Nephilim. Some propose that they were the offspring of fallen angels and women, an assertion that paints a fascinating, albeit perplexing, picture. Others argue that these so-called sons of God were the direct result of fallen angels. The third perspective suggests that the Nephilim were the descendants of Seth, Adam's third son. Lastly, there are those who believe that the Nephilim were leaders or kings, commanding respect and authority in their time. Among these theories, the one that has gained considerable traction is the notion of the Nephilim as offspring of fallen angels and humans. This interpretation draws support from Job and various New Testament passages, despite the absence of explicit mention of such relationships. Speaking of Job, we also delved into the intriguing idea that this might be the first book of the Bible. This perspective, if accepted, could shed new light on the context and understanding of the Nephilim, adding another layer to their enigma. As we delve into the mysteries of the Bible, the Nephilim continue to captivate us, reminding us of the endless wonder and debate that the scriptures inspire.